So let's tweak this together now. As I said, I want to have a date field and an organizer email field. So I'll add an organizer email field, and theoretically, you could also make organizer another related model so that organizers are standalone records in the database, maybe with their own name and so on. That would absolutely be possible. Here I'll keep it a bit simpler and just add a standard field, not a relation. But I'll use the email field here to make sure that we really have an email stored for our organizer email. And then I want to have a date. And there we got the date field conveniently, which ensures that a date is stored here and not some random string or anything like this. And that's how easy it is to adjust this meetup. I would now also argue, and that's of course optional, but I would argue that in the admin configuration, it would make sense that we're able to filter based on the date, and hence I'll add this to my list filter tuple as well, and also add it instead of the slug to my list display, and whilst we're there, maybe add the location as another column in this list display configuration field here. And with that, since I tweaked the model, of course it's time to migrate again. And actually for that, I'll restart that server quickly. And in this admin area, I want to delete the existing entry as I did it before. For that, I'll temporarily comment out these fields. And actually also temporarily comment out these fields where I refer to date, so that in my admin area I can delete the existing entry here real quick. And then thereafter I'll comment back in these fields in Meetup admin and these fields here in my model. And now with all of that, we can of course again make our migrations. So make migrations. And even though we don't have any past values, we need to provide a default value. And now we're talking about the date field here. So here I'll provide a default value of 2021-04-12 or something like this. Should just be a valid date format, but other than that, it doesn't matter. And for the email address, I'll provide test@test.com. But again, those values won't really be used. Nonetheless, we have to define them here. And then we can run the migrations by running the migrate command. Now, with that, we now did update our database. Now I can run my server again with the run server. And just as a side note, I also already want to output the image here on this detail page as soon as we have another meetup again. And therefore, on this meetup details page, where I also have this image, here I want to output my meetup image and some alt text, and also output the address and the location down there. And for that, actually in views py, we definitely want to make sure that we provide all that data to our view, either by providing the entire meetup or by providing the different things like title and description and so on standalone. And that's what we did up to this point, but that will become a bit cumbersome here. So I'll switch now and provide the entire selected meetup here as a meetup variable to my meetup details template. And then in this meetup details template, we can now interact with that. So here we could then output meetup.image.url as you learned. And as an alt text, maybe meetup.title. And for the location, even though it's a related model, we can simply do meetup.location.name, because every location has a name and then an address. And that's how we can work with related models in our templates as well, how we can access related properties. It's as easy as that. We do the same here for the address, meetup location.address. And then here for the description, it's now meetup.description, since we're now passing the entire meetup to the template. And for the title, it's meetup.title here. Also here for this title block, meetup.title. And with all that done, if I now save this and I go back to meetups, We got no meetups yet. Hence, here in the admin area, we can now add a new meetup. And again, it's our first meetup, but now it's the last time that we add it. I add some organizer email, test@test.com. For the date field, we conveniently get this date picker. So here we can choose some random date. Well, actually, maybe let's pick one in the future. And then here, this is a first meetup, could be the description. For the image, I'll pick the image we used many times before. I'll then choose my location and I'll create that. And now I'll also create a second meetup with test2@test.com, picking some other date here. This is the second meetup, and that takes the same image though, because it's the only image I prepared. Choose New York, click save, and we now got these two meetups, also here on this page. And if I visit one of these meetups, I now got the image here. It's super big, we need to style that, but we see the location, we see all the other data, and therefore now let's just make sure that this meetup image is not that big. And for this, in the meetup details template on this image, we can add the ID main image, because I did define some special styles for this ID. And if we do that and reload, this looks much better. And now we got that finished. Now we are managing all the data we need for this basic demo application. We are outputting all the data, and we're able to manage all the data here in this admin interface, which we get by Django. Now, the last feature I want to dive in are forms for our visitors. Because up to this point, all the data we added was added through this administration interface. And there's nothing wrong with that. But of course, that's only available to us as the site owner, or to anyone who we add as an admin. But our regular site users won't have access to that, and they shouldn't have. They don't know the password. But this form, which I want to add here, where every visitor of our website will be able to sign up, that of course should then handle that input from any random visitor, and that input should also end up in the database. And that's something we haven't added before, and that's therefore what we'll dive in next.